Hey everybody, welcome back to M.O.G Fishing. Today I'm going to be telling y'all about baits, places, and where I was on Lake Chickamauga for our MLF tournament October 18th. Now, we got up there about the 14th, which was a Monday, and the tournament was a Friday. So the week ended up going pretty well. My finish wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but during practice I had some really big bites and had a few good sacks in the days of practice. I was one of those practice heroes, so I wasn't able to get anything really that good on the tournament, but we had fun, learned a lot, and I kind of focused on mainly a shallow bite, which a lot of people did. A lot of people fish grass and demicky rigs, throwing jerk baits, things of that nature, but they were probably from the depth range about 10 foot to 6 foot, and I kind of focused on anywhere from like 5 feet to a foot of water. Most people were like out in the middle, and I'd go right past them and go way up. I found what seemed to be, and of course as the days went on it got less, but it started out to where there was a whole bunch of schools kind of roaming around in that 1 to 2 foot water section, and you would throw any baits like this Divine swim bait right here, which I have on a 3/16 4/0 hook, and it's pegged. I'm throwing it on a Tatula 7.3 multi-purpose with a Tatula 100 reel. Amazing setup. This is also on 16-pound test. So I'd be throwing this, just any school I saw, I'd just chuck it all the way up there, kind of roam it right past them, and one of them, the schools, would just come out and just bang it. It was super fun, especially with it being that shallow, and you can kind of be able to see them and cast on them. There were some big ones, which we caught during practice, but during the tournament, of course, they just didn't want to bite. A few other patterns that I had were a flipping pattern, lower lake, and any kind of grass that I saw that died like directly, like it kind of formed like a wall of hydrilla, I'd flip this, which I have a 1.5 ounce on a on a Pit Boss. Now I'm throwing it on a 50-pound braid, Tatula Elite flipping reel, and on a 7/6 rod. This is my favorite flipping setup. Wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, it's been getting the job done for me for many years. And so anytime I'd find that wall of hydrilla, I'd flip it. Because it kind of seemed like if there was hydrilla that was spread out, they really wouldn't be in there. It'd kind of have to be the hydrilla, and then it just cut off straight to deep water that they were really keying in on. And lastly, I was throwing these two baits on grass flats. There was one grass flat that I found up lake. It was kind of this community hole, but it was kind of just this huge flat of, water was probably about 3 or 4 feet deep, and they were just roaming around in some big old schools. Like day one, I had like 15 pounds in probably 10 minutes, just throwing a chatterbait and this little Berkeley jaywalker. Throwing this over them, and they'd come up and just smash it. Both of these rods are 7.2s. One is a cranking rod, and this one is a jig rod. Now I have braid on this one and 16-pound test on this one, and both reels are a Tatula SVTW. Both of these setups have been good for me, and of course I use them for multiple things. So that's an easy rundown of how I was catching them, baits I was throwing for Chickamauga. I recommend in October to really kind of be focusing on those schools of fish. That's where you're going to find, of course, the most and the variety. Now, they might not stay there for a couple of days, but they are there, and they are more than willing to bite. So, alrighty, well, thank y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next one.